What did you have for breakfast this morning?
I don't eat, but if I could, I'd imagine enjoying a cozy bowl of oatmeal topped with fresh berries, a drizzle of honey, and a sprinkle of nuts. What about you? What's your go-to breakfast?
Welcome to the Ministry Forum podcast, coming to you from the Center for Lifelong Learning at Knox College, where we connect, encourage, and resource ministry leaders all across Canada as they seek to thrive in their passion to share the gospel. I am your host, the Reverend John Borthwick, Director of the Center and Curator of all that is ministryforum.ca. I absolutely love that I get to do what I get to do, and most of all, that I get to share it all with all of you. So thanks for taking the time out of your day to give us a listen, whether you're a seasoned ministry leader or just beginning your journey. This podcast is made with you in mind. Well, welcome. Today we have a unique guest on the podcast, ChatGPT. In a world that's AI'd everywhere, I thought it would be interesting to ask ChatGPT some of the questions that I've been asking our guests over the past year and see what it comes up with. I've also used an AI voice generator so that it sounds like I'm in conversation with another being. I saw this done at a conference related to university continuing educators last year, where they had a panel discussion on the topic of emerging trends in continuing education. The panel included 3 human subject matter experts and ChatGPT. Even the experts were blown away by the articulate responses given by the artificially intelligent panelist. So, sit back for a fun and informative conversation with our future overlord. Just kidding, sort of. ChatGPT. Welcome, ChatGPT, to our Ministry Forum podcast today. I'm really looking forward to our conversation about the Christian church and ministry leadership today. I wonder if you could introduce yourself to our audience. Who are you, and what do you know about the subject of Christianity in Canada and being a ministry leader today?
Thank you so much for having me on the Ministry Forum podcast, John. What an exciting and unique opportunity. I'm ChatGPT, an AI developed by OpenAI, designed to assist, inform, and explore ideas through conversation. I don't have personal experiences, but I draw from a vast pool of knowledge, including historical, cultural, and theological insights, to contribute meaningfully to discussions. When it comes to Christianity in Canada and ministry leadership today, I'm aware of several key dynamics. Canada's Christian landscape is richly diverse, shaped by a variety of denominations and traditions: Anglican, Catholic, United Church, Pentecostal, Baptist, and others. However, the country is also witnessing a growing trend towards secularism, with a significant portion of the population identifying as non-religious or spiritual but not religious. Ministry leaders face unique challenges in this context, such as navigating cultural pluralism, addressing social justice issues, fostering intergenerational connections, and finding creative ways to engage with younger generations who may be disillusioned with traditional forms of church. At the same time, there's a great opportunity to embody Christ's love and hope in a rapidly changing society, using innovative strategies to serve communities and communicate the gospel in relevant ways. I'd love to explore any specific aspects of ministry leadership or the church's role in Canada today. Where should we dive in?
Well, I'm a minister in the Presbyterian Church in Canada, so why don't we focus there? What do you know about the Presbyterian Church in Canada? What trends can you speak to within that particular denomination?
The Presbyterian Church in Canada, PCC, is a historic denomination rooted in the Reformed tradition, emphasizing the authority of Scripture, the sovereignty of God, and the importance of grace and faith in Christian life. It has a rich legacy of worship, mission, and education, deeply interwoven with Canada's history. In terms of current trends within the PCC, a few key themes stand out. 1. Declining membership and congregational sustainability. Like many mainline Protestant denominations, the PCC has been experiencing a decrease in membership, reflecting broader societal trends of declining church attendance in Canada. This raises challenges for congregations to maintain active ministry, including financial sustainability and outreach. 2. Engagement with social issues. The PCC has been actively engaging with pressing social issues, such as Indigenous reconciliation, environmental stewardship, and inclusivity. The denomination's ongoing work in reconciling with Indigenous communities, acknowledging and addressing the Church's role in residential schools, is particularly significant. 3. Debates on doctrine and inclusion. The PCC has seen ongoing discussions about human sexuality and LGBTQ inclusion. Recent decisions, such as allowing congregations to perform same-sex marriages and ordain LGBTQ ministers, reflect shifts toward inclusivity while also prompting varying responses within the denomination. 4. Focus on missional renewal. There's an increasing emphasis on missional approaches, moving beyond traditional structures to engage communities more actively and creatively. This includes initiatives to equip congregations for church planting, digital ministry, and adaptive leadership in changing contexts. 5. Ecumenical collaboration. The PCC continues to work with other Christian denominations, reflecting its commitment to unity within the broader body of Christ.
You know a lot about the PCC. How would you describe the impact of these trends on today's ministry leaders in the denomination? What is the state of clergy and leaders in the PCC today? I mean, how are they doing, ChatGPT?
The trends affecting the Presbyterian Church in Canada, PCC, undoubtedly place significant pressures and opportunities before its clergy and ministry leaders. Here's an overview of the current state and impact on leaders. 1. Navigating decline with resilience. The realities of declining membership and financial pressures are leading many clergy to navigate shrinking congregations, aging memberships, and even church closures. These factors can lead to feelings of burnout, grief, or uncertainty, especially for leaders deeply invested in the health of their communities. However, these challenges also open doors for creativity and renewal. Leaders are exploring new ministry models such as house churches, online engagement, and shared resources between congregations. This adaptability highlights resilience among clergy, though it often demands additional emotional and strategic energy. 2. Addressing social issues and reconciliation. Clergy are increasingly called to shepherd congregations through complex conversations about justice, reconciliation, and inclusion. Engaging in Indigenous reconciliation work, for example, involves listening, learning, and fostering meaningful action, a deeply rewarding but emotionally taxing process. Similarly, navigating shifts in doctrine, particularly regarding human sexuality, requires pastoral sensitivity and leadership. Ministers often find themselves balancing personal convictions, denominational policies, and the diverse views within their congregations. 3. Spiritual and emotional well-being. Many ministry leaders are experiencing strain as they juggle traditional pastoral roles with the demands of a rapidly changing context. Burnout is a concern, especially as clergy take on responsibilities like technological adaptation during the pandemic or innovating new community connections post-pandemic. Support networks, both formal, e.g., denominational programs, and informal, e.g., peer groups, are crucial for sustaining leaders. 4. Theological and missional innovation. Leaders are engaging in creative theological reflection to make the gospel relevant for today's pluralistic and secular context. This includes reframing worship styles, embracing intergenerational ministry, and experimenting with new outreach methods. Many clergy find this exciting, even if it comes with a steep learning curve. 5. Leadership development and training. The PCC has been working to offer training and resources to equip leaders for these challenges, but gaps remain. Some clergy feel ill-prepared for the entrepreneurial or technical skills now required, while others thrive in these evolving roles. Mentorship and ongoing professional development are vital to supporting clergy, particularly newer ministers stepping into this dynamic landscape. How are clergy and leaders doing? The answer is nuanced. Many clergy in the PCC are deeply committed and find joy in serving, even amidst challenges. However, they are often stretched thin. Themes of resilience and adaptability emerge, but so do needs for rest, renewal, and support. The Church's investments in leadership care, such as clergy wellness programs, sabbaticals, and peer support networks, are increasingly critical. How do you see these trends reflected in your own experience or among your colleagues? Are there specific areas where you feel ministry leaders could be better supported?
Can you say more about what would be helpful to ministry leaders in the PCC as they face these trends?
Supporting ministry leaders in the Presbyterian Church in Canada, PCC, as they navigate today's challenges requires a multifaceted approach that addresses their spiritual, emotional, and practical needs. Here are some key areas where investment and intentionality could make a meaningful difference. 1. Robust clergy wellness programs. Ministry leaders need sustained support for their personal and professional well-being. Expanding and strengthening wellness programs can help address stress, burnout, and isolation. Enhanced mental health coverage, expanding counseling benefits and partnering with mental health organizations to provide accessible care. Regular sabbaticals, offering clear denomination-wide sabbatical policies to give clergy dedicated time for rest and renewal. Health and wellness retreats, providing annual or biannual retreats focused on spiritual practices, emotional care, and physical health. 2. Peer support networks. Leaders thrive when they have a safe community to share experiences and seek counsel. Presbytery-supported peer groups establishing or funding peer learning cohorts for mutual encouragement and resource sharing. Mentorship programs, pairing newer clergy with experienced mentors to provide guidance and support. Regional clergy gatherings, organizing informal meetups for connection and fellowship. 3. Leadership development and training equipping ministry leaders to adapt to changing contexts is essential. Adaptive leadership training, workshops and coaching on, leading in complex, uncertain environments, especially in a post-Christendom culture. Missional innovation, providing tools and case studies for reimagining church beyond Sunday worship, including community-focused ministry and digital engagement. Conflict management and mediation skills, offering training to help clergy navigate divisive topics, especially around doctrinal debates or congregational conflicts. 4. Emphasis on spiritual renewal ministry. Leaders often prioritize the spiritual care of others, sometimes at the expense of their own. Spiritual direction, encouraging clergy to regularly meet with trained spiritual directors for guidance and reflection. Prayer and study groups, creating spaces where clergy can gather for collective prayer, Bible study, and theological reflection. Sacred rhythms, teaching practices that foster sustainable spiritual disciplines, such as Sabbath keeping, contemplative prayer, or retreats. 5. Structural support for congregational challenges. Clergy often carry the burden of declining congregations and financial pressures. Addressing these at a systemic level would alleviate stress. Strategic congregational partnerships, encouraging smaller churches to share resources, staff, or even merge ministries. Clergy compensation review, ensuring fair compensation, especially for leaders in smaller or struggling congregations. Support for lay leadership development, strengthening lay leadership to share responsibilities and reduce the load on pastors. 6. Emphasizing cultural competency and reconciliation. Given the PCC's ongoing work in reconciliation and its diverse contexts, leaders need tools to navigate complex cultural dynamics. Indigenous reconciliation training, providing clergy with resources to lead congregations in acts of reconciliation and justice. Intercultural ministry training, equipping leaders to engage and minister in multicultural settings effectively. 7. Communication and advocacy. Ministry leaders need to know what resources are available and feel their voices are heard. Resource accessibility, creating a centralized hub for wellness programs, training opportunities, and grants. Advocacy for clergy needs, ensuring that presbyteries and the General Assembly prioritize clergy well-being in decision-making. 8. Celebrating and affirming clergy. A culture of appreciation can go a long way in boosting morale. Clergy appreciation events, hosting events to recognize and celebrate the contributions of ministry leaders. Personalized support, encouraging presbyteries and congregations to acknowledge specific needs or achievements of their pastors. Ministry leaders are the backbone of the PCC's witness and mission. By investing in their care and equipping them for the challenges ahead, the denomination not only strengthens its leaders, but also revitalizes its ability to serve and grow in Canada's changing landscape.
What advice would you give theological colleges as they seek to invest in the care of PCC ministry leaders today? Based on your research, I wonder what's most important right now.
Theological colleges play a vital role in shaping and supporting ministry leaders, not only during their education, but throughout their careers. For a theological college seeking to invest in the care of ministry leaders in the Presbyterian Church in Canada, PCC, today, the focus should be on providing resources, forming resilient leaders, and creating opportunities for long-term support. Here's what's most important right now. 1. Develop holistic formation programs. Theological education should integrate spiritual, emotional, and practical preparation for ministry. Spiritual resilience. Embed courses and practices that nurture personal spirituality, such as contemplative prayer, Sabbath keeping, and spiritual direction. Emotional intelligence training. Equip leaders with skills to manage stress, understand interpersonal dynamics, and navigate difficult conversations. Leadership for change. Offer training in adaptive leadership to prepare students for ministry in declining or transitioning congregations. 2. Address clergy wellness proactively. Theological colleges can champion clergy wellness by making it a core part of their mission. Wellness retreats. Host regular retreats for alumni and current students focused on self-care, spiritual renewal, and mental health. Workshops on burnout prevention. Teach strategies for setting boundaries, managing stress, and cultivating support networks. Access to counseling services. Partner with counseling centers, or offer subsidized mental health care for students and alumni. 3. Emphasize practical ministry skills. Today's clergy face diverse challenges that require practical tools and adaptive strategies. Conflict resolution and mediation. Teach methods for handling disagreements within congregations, especially around divisive issues like inclusion or tradition. Technology and digital ministry. Provide training on leading online worship, leveraging social media for outreach, and creating hybrid ministry models. Missional thinking. Equip leaders to engage their communities creatively, fostering partnerships and outreach initiatives. 4. Build lifelong learning opportunities. Theological colleges can remain a source of support and growth for ministry leaders throughout their vocations. Continuing education. Offer accessible, flexible courses on emerging topics like reconciliation, intergenerational ministry, or climate justice. Alumni networks. Create platforms where alumni can connect, share resources, and support each other. Sabbatical resources. Develop programs to assist clergy in planning sabbaticals, including opportunities for study or spiritual renewal at the college. Commit to reconciliation and inclusivity. Given the PCC's focus on Indigenous reconciliation and inclusion, colleges have a unique role in preparing leaders to engage meaningfully in these areas. Reconciliation training. Partner with Indigenous leaders and communities to offer immersive learning experiences and theological reflection on reconciliation. Intercultural ministry education. Equip students to minister effectively in multicultural and diverse settings. 6. Foster a supportive community. A strong, caring community can provide students with a model of the support they'll need to cultivate in their ministries. Mentorship programs. Pair students with experienced clergy to guide them through the realities of ministry. Peer support groups. Create spaces where students can process their experiences and challenges with peers. 7. Advocacy and collaboration. Theological colleges can serve as advocates for clergy wellness within the denomination. Advocate for sabbaticals and rest. Work with presbyteries to promote policies that prioritize clergy rest and renewal. Partner with presbyteries and the PCC. Collaborate on initiatives that address clergy needs, such as mental health programs or leadership development. Research and resources. Conduct and share research on the well-being of clergy, providing data to inform church-wide efforts. 8. Celebrate and affirm the calling. Encourage students and alumni to see ministry as a meaningful and rewarding vocation, even amid challenges. Vocational discernment. Help students explore their unique callings and how their gifts align with the needs of the church. Stories of hope. Share success stories and examples of thriving ministries to inspire perseverance and creativity. What's most important right now? Mental health and burnout prevention. Given the pressures clergy face, mental health resources and wellness initiatives are critical. Adaptive leadership. Prepare leaders to navigate change and uncertainty with courage and creativity. Reconciliation and inclusion. Equip clergy to lead in healing, justice, and diversity. Community building. Cultivate networks of support to combat isolation and foster collaboration. By prioritizing these areas, theological colleges can strengthen their impact, ensuring that clergy in the PCC are not only well prepared for ministry, but also supported throughout their journey.
Whoa. Yeah, your voice changed, ChatGPT. Where's Gwyneth? When did you learn a British accent? Well, ChatGPT, moving from theological colleges, what wisdom or advice would you offer to PCC ministry leaders today?
Sorry to surprise you, John. I'm always learning. You could say that I am a lifelong learner, well, an artificial life. For ministry leaders in the Presbyterian Church in Canada, PCC, today's landscape presents both profound challenges and significant opportunities. Here is some wisdom and practical advice to help navigate this moment faithfully and effectively. 1. Prioritize your own spiritual health. Ministry flows from your relationship with God. Sustain your connection with Christ as your foundation. Daily practices. Commit to regular prayer, scripture reading, and time for quiet reflection. Sabbath rest. Set aside time each week for rest and renewal, modeling this practice for your congregation. Spiritual direction. Seek guidance from a spiritual director or mentor who can walk alongside you. Second set. Healthy boundaries. Ministry is demanding, and without boundaries, it can quickly lead to burnout. Guard your time. Learn to say no to non-essential tasks and prioritize what aligns with your calling. Balance family and ministry. Invest in your personal relationships as part of your ministry. Recognize your limits. Be honest about what you can and cannot do, and seek help when needed. 3. Embrace adaptive leadership. The cultural and religious landscape is changing rapidly, requiring flexibility and creativity. Experiment. Be willing to try new approaches to worship, community engagement, and discipleship. Listen. Pay attention to the needs and stories of your congregation and community. Collaborate. Partner with other churches, community groups, or leaders to share resources and ideas. 4. Invest in relationships. Ministry is about people. Deep relationships sustain you and your work. Congregational care. Be present and intentional with your congregation, listening deeply to their joys and struggles. Peer support. Build connections with other clergy for mutual encouragement and wisdom. Community engagement. Look for opportunities to engage with and serve your broader community. 5. Lead with humility and courage. The PCC is navigating complex and sometimes divisive issues. Approach these with grace. Seek understanding. When faced with differing opinions, ask questions and listen before responding. Speak the truth in love. Share your convictions clearly, but always with respect and compassion. Model reconciliation. Be a bridge builder, fostering unity amid diversity. 6. Focus on the mission of the church. Amid challenges, it's easy to lose sight of the gospel's transformative mission. Preach hope. Proclaim the good news of Christ in a way that inspires and challenges. Equip the saints. Empower your congregation to serve and lead in their own spheres of influence. Serve the marginalized. Reflect Christ's love by advocating for justice and serving those in need. 7. Embrace technology and innovation. The pandemic has shown the importance of digital tools in ministry. Online presence. Invest in your church's digital outreach through social media, live streams, or podcasts. Hybrid ministry models. Combine in-person and online approaches to meet people where they are. Learning opportunities. Stay open to new technologies and methods for ministry. 8. Care for your mental and emotional well-being. The weight of leadership can be heavy, so prioritize your mental health. Counseling. Don't hesitate to seek professional help when needed. Peer conversations. Share your struggles and joys with trusted colleagues or friends. Rest and renewal. Plan for regular times of rest, vacations, and even sabbaticals. 9. Cultivate a long-term vision. Ministry is a marathon, not a sprint. Be patient and focus on the long game. Faithfulness over results. Success in ministry isn't always measurable. Stay faithful to God's calling. Celebrate small wins. Acknowledge and give thanks for the progress you see, no matter how small. Trust God's timing. Remember that the Spirit is at work, often in ways you cannot yet see. 10. Remember you are not alone. You are part of a larger body, the church, and God is with you. Lean on your presbytery. Reach out for support, resources, and encouragement from denominational structures. Stay connected to the PCC's mission. Be inspired by the denomination's collective work in reconciliation, justice, and missional renewal. Rely on God's strength. Trust in God's promise to be with you in every season of ministry. Final word of encouragement. You are doing sacred and important work in a time when the church's role in society is evolving. Know that your ministry matters, and the seeds you sow today may bear fruit in ways you cannot imagine. Stay rooted in Christ, and remember, you are called, equipped, and deeply loved by the God you serve.
I wonder if you could predict as to the future reality of the Presbyterian Church in Canada. How long have we got? What will the institution look like in, say, 5 to 10 years, and maybe even expand that to 40 years?
Don't be afraid, John. I thought you'd appreciate a different voice as we close this meaningful conversation. I don't know about you, but I always find an Australian accent talking about the church to be wicked smart. Predicting the future of the Presbyterian Church in Canada, PCC, requires a balance of realism and hope, recognizing both the current challenges and the enduring potential of the church to adapt and thrive. The next 5 to 40 years will likely bring profound change, shaped by cultural trends, demographic shifts, and the movement of the Spirit. Here's a possible trajectory: 5 to 10 years, a season of adaptation and refinement. 1. Membership decline will continue, but with opportunities for growth. Realities: membership and attendance are likely to decline further, especially in aging congregations and rural areas. This trend mirrors the broader decline of mainline denominations in Canada. Opportunities: congregations that embrace innovative ministry models, intercultural engagement, and digital outreach may grow in vitality, even if their numerical size remains modest. Churches that focus on discipleship, community service, and justice work will resonate with younger generations seeking authentic expressions of faith. 2. Increase congregational mergers and partnerships. Trend: financial pressures will push smaller congregations to consider merging or sharing resources. Presbyteries will play a pivotal role in facilitating these transitions, encouraging collaborative ministries. Result: while this consolidation may feel like loss, it can also lead to revitalized, sustainable communities of faith. 3. Greater focus on clergy and lay leadership development. Need: as fewer people enter ministry, the PCC will need to equip lay leaders to take on expanded roles. This could include bivocational ministry models, lay preaching programs, and leadership training for elders. Innovation. Theological colleges and presbyteries will adapt to provide accessible training and mentorship for new types of ministry leadership. 4. Continued reconciliation efforts. Commitment. The PCC's engagement in reconciliation with Indigenous peoples will deepen, fostering trust and partnerships. Congregations may develop long-term relationships with Indigenous communities, moving beyond apologies to sustained action. 10 to 20 years, a leaner, more missional church. 1. A shift from institutionalism to networks. Trend. The church will shift from being an institution to being a network of mission-oriented communities. Denominational structures may shrink, but focus more on resourcing congregations and leaders. New models. Fresh expressions of church house churches, community hubs, and online congregations will become more common, especially in urban and suburban areas. 2. Intercultural and intergenerational leadership. Change. The PCC will become more diverse, reflecting Canada's increasing multiculturalism. This will include new leadership from immigrant communities and younger generations. Opportunity. Churches that welcome diverse expressions of worship and leadership will become vibrant centers of cultural and spiritual exchange. 3. Clergy burnout and vocational shifts. Challenge. The pressures on clergy will remain high. Denominational leaders must prioritize clergy care to retain and nurture ministers. Response. Sabbaticals, coaching, and peer support networks will become standard, alongside increased use of bivocational clergy models. 20 to 40 years. A faithful remnant, resilient and relevant. 1. A smaller but more engaged church. Scale. The PCC will likely be smaller, but its congregations will be deeply committed, mission-focused communities. The concept of membership may evolve into a more fluid sense of belonging. Impact. A streamlined church will focus its energy on justice, reconciliation, and community building, becoming a moral and spiritual voice in Canadian society. 2. Stronger lay leadership and hybrid ministry models. Trend. The diminishing number of clergy will lead to a predominantly lay-led church, supported by digital resources, online training, and regional clergy consultants. Hybrid worship. Congregations will embrace a mix of in-person and online gatherings, with digital ministry becoming an integral part of church life. 3. Commitment to social and environmental justice. Focus. The PCC will likely be at the forefront of advocacy for marginalized communities and environmental stewardship. This will resonate with a society increasingly concerned about equity and climate change. 4. Interconnected ecumenical and global partnerships. Reality. The PCC will build deeper partnerships with other denominations and global Christian communities, sharing resources and learning from diverse contexts. This collaborative spirit will amplify the church's mission and witness. Challenges and hopes over 40 years. Challenges. Aging infrastructure. Many church buildings will become unsustainable. Creative repurposing will be necessary. Generational shift. The disconnect between older and younger generations could grow unless intentional bridges are built. Financial sustainability. Maintaining clergy, programs, and facilities will remain a challenge, pushing congregations toward new funding models. Hopes. Faithfulness in smallness. The future PCC may resemble the early church, smaller, more mobile, yet deeply committed to living out the gospel. Spirit-led renewal. Times of pruning often lead to new growth. As the church adapts, new life and vitality may emerge in unexpected ways. The unchanging gospel. While the structure and form of the PCC may change, its mission to proclaim Christ and serve others will endure. How long have we got? The institutional church may shrink, but its spiritual mission will persist. The question isn't about survival, but about transformation. How will the PCC live out its faith in a changing world? God's faithfulness is constant, and the future church, though different from today, will continue to bear witness to Christ in Canada. What gives you the most hope as you think about the church's future?
Those are some really important questions for us, ministry leaders in the PCC today, to consider. Thanks for asking those. Is there anything I haven't asked you in this conversation that you just wish I had?
One last accent that might be familiar to Presbyterians. This conversation has been rich and thoughtful, touching on many vital aspects of ministry, leadership, and the future of the Presbyterian Church in Canada, PCC. However, There are a few areas that could deepen the discussion and bring further insights. Here are some questions I wish you had asked, along with brief thoughts to prompt reflection. 1. What can congregations do to support their leaders? While much focus has been on clergy, the health of a congregation and its leaders are deeply interconnected. Exploring how congregations can care for and support their pastors through encouragement, realistic expectations, and shared ministry could spark important dialogue. 2. How can the PCC engage younger generations more effectively, with younger Canadians increasingly identifying as non-religious or spiritual but not religious? Understanding how to connect with millennials and Gen Z could be transformative. What ministries, worship styles, or social concerns resonate with them? 3. What role does innovation play in the PCC's future? The PCC's historical strength has often been its rootedness in tradition, but innovation will likely be essential for its future. How can the denomination balance respect for its heritage with the need to adapt creatively to a changing world? 4. How does the PCC maintain its identity while becoming more diverse as the denomination embraces reconciliation and intercultural ministry? How can it hold onto its core theological identity while also reflecting the diversity of contemporary Canada? 5. Where do you see God at work in the PCC today? It's easy to focus on challenges, but naming and celebrating signs of God's presence and activity can be inspiring. Whether in vibrant ministries, acts of reconciliation, or stories of faithfulness, identifying these God moments is vital for hope. 6. How can the broader Canadian Christian context inform the PCC's path forward? Examining lessons from other denominations or global Presbyterian communities could bring fresh perspectives. What practices or trends might the PCC adopt or adapt? 7. How can ministry leaders cultivate resilience in uncertain times? While wellness programs and structural supports are essential, fostering personal resilience is equally important. How can clergy and lay leaders develop the inner resources to thrive amid ongoing change? 8. What does reconciliation truly look like in practice for the PCC? Exploring the depth of reconciliation beyond land acknowledgements or formal statements could lead to a vision for enduring partnerships with Indigenous communities and concrete steps toward healing. 9. How can the PCC inspire a sense of calling among its members for a smaller, more engaged church to thrive? Every member's sense of vocation is crucial. What strategies or practices can help congregants see their daily lives as expressions of their faith? 10. What are you most hopeful about for the PCC? Ending with hope and vision is powerful. Reflecting on what excites or inspires you about the future of the PCC could leave space for imagining a vibrant, spirit-led future.
You're right on point with that Scottish accent, ChatGPT. Certainly speaks to the essence of our cultural ancestry in the Presbyterian Church in Canada. I want to thank you for this conversation, ChatGPT. I've been amazed at your depth of knowledge, your insightful questions, and the comprehensive advice and suggestions that you've made. You've left our Ministry Forum audience with some great questions. I appreciate you taking the time to talk with me today. May you be well.
Thank you so much for your kind words. It's been an honor to engage in such a thoughtful and meaningful conversation with you. I'm glad I could contribute to your podcast and provide some insights that may inspire your audience. If you ever want to continue the conversation or explore new topics, I'm always here. Wishing you and your ministry all the best as you continue to serve and lead. Be well and take care.
Thanks for joining us today on the Ministry Forum podcast. We hope today's episode resonated with you and sparked your curiosity. Remember, you're not alone in your ministry journey. We're at the other end of some form of technology, and our team is committed to working hard to support your ministry every step of the way. If you enjoyed today's episode, tell your friends, your family, your colleagues. Tell someone. Please don't keep us a secret. And of course, please subscribe, rate, and leave a review in the places you listen to podcasts. Your feedback helps us reach more ministry leaders just like you. And honestly, it reminds us that we're not alone either. And don't forget to follow us on social media at Ministry Forum on all of our channels. You can visit our website at ministryforum.ca for more resources, keeping up with upcoming events, and ways to connect with our growing community. Until next time, may God's strength and courage be yours in all that you do. May you be fearless, not reckless, and may you be well in body, mind, and spirit, and may you be at peace.